Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do kind of a brief little introduction here. So again, give another minute or so before everybody can get logged in and whatnot. My name is Kelly McNamara. I am the senior training specialist at Billhighway. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk through the Billhighway solution that you're going to utilize for your club. AAF has partnered with Billhighway so that we can process memberships and ADDI submissions. And then you're going to use Billhighway to, one, get those funds into your club's local bank account, and then process any refunds that maybe your club needs to process. Again, that could be completely optional. Maybe your club doesn't process them, but just know that you have that flexibility within the Billhighway solution to actually process any of those refunds. So the point of Billhighway really is that we are just processing any of these payments that are coming in for your club. And then what's going to happen is that these payments will come in. They're going to come into your Billhighway account here. And then the portion that needs to go off to AAF National does. And then anything that needs to come to your local club will actually go right into your local club's bank account. So there's really no action that you need to do as your club administrator to actually get those funds in there. We're going to kind of go through all of that stuff, that flow of how that's going to work within Billhighway. But really what I want to just kind of show you within Billhighway is what's happening is that we're processing those funds. And so what you're going to use within Billhighway is to kind of just review that information, reconcile those reports, and then process any refunds if you need to. There is going to be no member level information within the Billhighway system. All of that is actually stored within open water. So if you have any questions about member specific level information, you're going to find that in open water. That's not to say that that member information can't ever come into Billhighway. It could. Just with the integration right now of how it's working within Billhighway, you're only going to see information listed as open water. You're really just going to see the funds that come in. And then we're going to go to some reporting level details so you can reconcile that stuff that goes into your local bank account. Each club has a Billhighway account, and then each administrator within that club can have access to Billhighway to kind of manage the stuff within Billhighway. If you are unsure what maybe your login information is for your club, or maybe you think you don't even have an account, what we'll do is after this training session, I would say contact our client care team, and then they can help you get logged into your account so that you can manage it, for your club and whatnot. And I will give the details of how to get a hold of client care after this session that we go through here. So again, everybody will have their own Billhighway account. So you're not sharing that information with anybody. You'll have your own login information. And again, it's for each club will have a Billhighway account that administrators have access to kind of review. Let's see. So within Billhighway, again, you're going to log into your own account. And really within Billhighway, what you're going to see is you're going to review the funds that have been processed, again, from those ADDI submissions or from memberships, anything like that. You're going to kind of review those reports and things like that that are within Billhighway, so you can kind of review and reconcile any information, and then process any refunds within Billhighway. And so without further ado, we will kind of dive into Billhighway so I can show you all that stuff that I kind of just high level went over for you. So I am in a sample account that we're going to kind of show you through Billhighway to show you what it would look like when you log in, again, as a local administrator for your club. There's not really too much that we really need to focus on when you first get logged into Billhighway. The first thing that we're really going to talk about is really the cash account balances. And for the most part, this balance is really going to be changing every single day. It's really just going to depend on how much people are signing up or submitting anything for ADDIs and whatever that time frame is really with when people are going to be making those submissions. So there's going to be a lot of times where maybe the balance within your cash account is really just zero. Also, what's happening is that when we process a payment, you're going to see that come into one of these cash accounts. Most likely it's going to sit in this in-transit account because it doesn't know necessarily where it needs to actually go for. And so it's coming in. And then once we know that it is a valid payment, right? So there was enough funds to cover whatever that member was making a payment for, it will then move into either the local account or the national account. And this is based on whatever that member had signed up for, whether they were signing up for a membership fee, if they were signing up for ADDIs. The system knows exactly what it needs to go to, and it will break it up for you, and it will move those funds into each one of these respected cash accounts that it needs to. After it moves into one of these two cash accounts, after one business day, they will leave these cash accounts and go off to their respected bank account outside of Billhighway. So in the national account situation here, if there's funds that come in for anything national dues related or anything like that, whatever's in here moves off to AAF National. So you don't have to worry about making a payment, sending it off to National for whatever you need to. It's already set up. It will automatically sweep out to them. Same being said for this local account. This is a placeholder name for your local bank account for your club. And any funds that come in here and settle, they will be swept out again, 1 business day into your local bank account. So really what you're looking at here is you're not really going to see too much activity day to day on here. You'll probably see some come in, move from in transit into the local national account. And then again, they're going to sweep out to the outside local bank accounts here. So for the most part, you're really going to see $0 sitting within these cash accounts unless you know somebody signed up for something or submitted a member payment. You'll see that then come in here and then move out. But then really it's just coming out into your local account where you can then, use your bank account for whatever you need to for your club, but you'll see those funds move out. Just high level, this billing and payment summary will kind of just show you for in the time period that we're in. So we're looking at, 2021. We have the billed and the collected really should match within the system because the billed is going to be how much somebody put in their shopping cart, and then collected is going to be the actual payment that was applied towards the billed amount. And I almost want to say that with quotation marks because it's really just whatever somebody put in their shopping cart, right? And so you're going to see that those numbers, whatever went to national and however much went to local account. So really that's kind of the main thing that you want to really look at on your dashboard when you get into your Billhighway account. Again, you're probably not going to see too much happening within the cash accounts. And then really kind of can just see year over year how much is actually, being processed for the local and for national. Now, let's say you're a new administrator coming in, right? And you need to manage this for your club. And you're saying, okay, so we have all this money that could be coming for our local account. What is that local account? I'm a new administrator. Do I know that the funds are actually sweeping out to the right local account? Or maybe you guys have changed your bank account for your club. And now we need to make sure that the right information is listed within Billhighway so that the funds come to our account and not go to, a previous account that maybe we had within our system. And so this is one of the things that you really kind of should check over as you are a new administrator coming in to manage your club. Or again, if you're just getting a new bank account. And so to review that information, that is going to be under My Organization. It's going to be under Organization, and it's called Bank Account. So again, it's not something that you really need to be reviewing all that often. It's just as a new admin, double checking it's the right information. And then again, if you had made a change, that we can get that uploaded for you. As you can see, there's going to be a little error message on this page that tells you that it's only for review only, and you can't really edit that. And that's really just because that's, secure information. That's bank account information. We really don't want you submitting anything on this page or anything like that. So if you do need to make some changes, please contact our, our support team, and they will work with you with our accounting team to make sure that we have the right bank account information entered in for your, your club. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to look down here where it says external funds transfer. Within the Billhighway system, that basically means we are externally moving funds out of the Billhighway system, transferring them out. And so that's where you're going to look under here. You'll see the local account, and you're going to see the last 4 of the routing and the account number. And then again, with national, we have the routing and the account number. That's going to be pre-populated for you. We've already worked with AAF National to have that information entered in there. But this is where you can just come and review and say, okay, does this account number match what we are having on file? Like that's our local bank account that we use. Make sure that looks correct. And if so, you're good to go. Then just know that anytime somebody makes a ADDI submission or, signs up for membership or anything like that, the funds are going to go into your correct bank account. If that doesn't look correct, please contact the number here. And like I said, we will work with your club to make sure that we get the correct bank account information in. We will have secure documents that we can have you submit that information for you. Definitely do not send bank account information via email anywhere, not even just to Billhighway, just in general, because that is definitely not secure. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to touch on first within Billhighway is just double checking that bank account information. The second thing that we want to review today is going to be processing refunds. So as I mentioned before coming into Billhighway, really what we're doing is Billhighway's processing payments. We're moving them to your local bank account, and then you can do refunds and just kind of review those reports within there. So there's, very few things that you have to really monitor or manage within the system. And so this is that second one is just kind of issuing any refunds. Again, your club might not process refunds. Maybe you don't, offer refunds for anything. So if so, then you don't necessarily have to, pay close attention during this session. But if you do need to process any refunds, we will kind of cover this. It is a very straightforward process. As you can see, it's going to take us about 3 different steps to get through to process a refund. One of the probably the biggest piece that we need to know to process a refund is actually going to be the confirmation number. Now, the confirmation number is going to be something that the member has when they submitted their payment, or you're going to be able to find this in open water. It's going to be the transaction ID that is tied to a payment. Because as I mentioned, when we first started this training with Billhighway, we are just processing the payments, and what's coming over to us is just the payment information and the date. And then we're going to see that it's going to say open water is tied to, the member information here, right? So that's not going to be really helpful if you need to process a refund for a member and you only see open water listed here. So that's not really going to help you know exactly which transaction that you need to refund. So this is where we need to have the actual confirmation number, which again, the member will have it. They'll have it, they'll get it emailed to them once they, made a payment. Or you can find it in open water. When you find that member's payment information, it's going to be the transaction ID. And so that's where it's really important to make sure that you have that information, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to locate a specific transaction that you need to refund. With the integration that we have with open water right now, where we're only getting that name and not an actual member's name coming back to us. So from here though, let's say if I did locate it, it needs to be this $80 payment. This is what I need to refund back to the member. So I have selected this transaction. And then if we scroll down to the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and click next to move on to step 2 of processing this refund for this member. So in step 1, in step 2, we're going to see the details related to this payment. Again, not really super intuitive here because it's really just going to say open water here, but we'll see the payment amount. We'll see the date that it was submitted and things like that. Now, when we do a payment refund, you have the ability to do the full refund amount, or you can do a partial amount. So it's completely up to you of what you need to refund it for and the situation that, the refund is, taking place and whatnot. So you can obviously put in $80, you can put in $40, you can do whatever you need to. And then you can put in some notes as to why we are refunding this. And then we'll hit next to move on to step 3, which is really just kind of confirming everything that you've entered in, right? Just saying that we're going to do a $40 refund out of this $80. Here's the notes. When you hit submit, the refund will begin to process instantaneously within the Billhighway system, depending on this person's, credit card company, whatnot, that they need to be refunded. They should see it within 1 to 3 days back, within their statements and things like that. But it will start to process right away within the Billhighway system. So again, just make sure when you do need to process any refunds for anything, you're going to need to know that confirmation number. Within Billhighway, it's called the confirmation number. In open water, it's going to be the transaction ID that you want to pull through to search for within the system to narrow it down. Because again, as you can see, it's all just going to be open water. That's not going to be super helpful to find a refund if you don't have that confirmation number, unless you know specifically the amount, which again could also be, the same amounts and things like that. Okay, so now that we have reviewed our bank account information, kind of went over refunds, the next really big thing that I want to focus on within the Billhighway system is going to be reports. And so we have a lot of different reports that are available to you. Some of them might be a little bit more confusing or not offer as much information because, again, we're not going to see member level detail that's coming through with these things. But there are going to be some reports that I think are going to be at least pretty helpful for you for reconciliation processes. You can obviously pull, refund information as well, so you can see how much that you have refunded back to members. And then there is a way where you can kind of pull a different report where you can get a breakdown of the different chart of accounts that have been, paid, so that you can at least break down payments that are coming in, whether they are for, ADDI submissions or if they're for membership fees and different things like that. So all of those are really going to be under the transaction reports. And I think this is really where you're going to probably focus most of your time when you want to review Billhighway information and reconcile for, the money that's being swept into your bank account and things like that. And so that report is actually going to be that external bank transfer. And we're going to start with that one here. So as we looked at that bank account page where it said external bank transfer, that's how it can maybe tie together for you to remember this is the report to review. for you to go back and kind of review the money that has swept out into your local bank account outside of Billhighway. So within this external bank transfer report, you can pull it for, one specific day if you wanted to. You can pull it for, a month if you wanted to. It's really how often you're going to be reconciling. And it also depends on when you're actually, receiving funds, when people are signing up for things that you are actually going to get money that's coming into your account if you want to reconcile it. I'm just going to kind of go back here, show you a little bit of information. We kind of got to go back in time here so that we can run this report. But within the report, depending on how detailed you want to be within your reconciliation, one thing I might want to highlight for you is where it says show detailed record, you can change it to yes, and dive into the more specifics within your report. So we're going to go ahead and run this report. I want to show you what it's going to look like when you, want to reconcile what the funds are moving into your local bank account, or what's going up to the national account as well. So what we can see here is now we're seeing the detailed records, right? We're seeing how much was maybe a member payment, how much was for fees, and different things like that. So you can actually see how much is actually being settled into your local bank account from the Billhighway system. So this is helpful when you can maybe see in open water that somebody had submitted something, but then maybe you're seeing in your local bank account that doesn't match. So then you can see that maybe that payment got declined for any particular reason. Or you just want to make sure that whatever is coming into your local bank account does match for however people signed up or submitted any, ADDI submissions, anything like that. So because I'm showing the detailed records, I'm going to get each item broken out for me based on fees and any payments and, everything that's coming through within here. And as you can see, it also shows me the local account and the national account. Now, this might be too in-depth. Maybe you don't need it to be this high level. And if that's the case, you can always click on these little plus little signs all the way over to the left of the group nickname. And again, I'm in just like a sample account here for you. And if I wanted to, I can also change this detailed record to be no, and then that would default for me. It might be a little bit easier to read when we jump back into this report. You can still break it out if you need to, but then this way I can quickly see, okay, so for my local account, let's say on January 6th, $15.36 was deposited. I can go to my local bank, check that. Yep, that's what's in there. We're done. However, if I wanted to dive into the specifics of what makes up this $15.36, this is where I can come and click on this plus sign, break it out further, and then I can see what makes up that $15.36 of what actually got processed there. So this is a good report to help when you need to reconcile with your local bank account, just to making sure. And then you can always just see how much has also went up to national. So this report, again, is always going to be very valuable for you to do that. You can export this out to Excel or to a different format to use outside of Billhighway to maybe read it a little bit easier. I know that the numbers and wording on this page is a little bit small. So when you do export it out to Excel, obviously it can be a little bit easier to read and manage. And to export that out, that's going to be with this little disk icon here. Let's go ahead and cancel. This is taking a little bit too long here. And so you'll click on the disk icon, and then that can export it out to Excel for you to kind of work with a format outside of Billhighway that might be a little bit easier to read. So again, this one is definitely going to help you with all the funds that once we've processed them through Billhighway and moved them into your local and to national, this will be that report for you to break down that information. The next report that I want to highlight is going to be the account history report. So this will also show you kind of like a bank statement, right? It's going to show you the funds that have come in and the funds that have left. So if you wanted to see them before they move into your local bank account, you can use this report for that. So you just pick which cash account you want to look at. So if I just wanted to look at my local account, and then I can pick and choose the date range of when I want to look at it. So I can do within a 365-day time period. I'm just going to jump back to December, and then we'll run it through maybe the end of January, so we can see any information that has come in here. Helps if I actually went to the past year when we're entering that information in there. And we'll go ahead and click submit for this report to run as well for us. And again, we can run this for each one of the cash accounts. So we can run it for the local, We can run it for national. You can also run it for that in-transit account, which when I said when the payments are first coming into Billhighway to be processed, you'll see them come into that in-transit account. And then once they settle and clear, they will move out into either the local or the national. However, if somebody's payment gets returned for any particular reason, right? Maybe, they decided to, issue a stop payment on something, or they wanted to cancel the credit card. They said it was a fraudulent charge, whatever. You'll be able to see that in the in-transit report of, a payment getting canceled and things like that. But so here you'll be able to see, the payments that have come in. You're going to see checks, chapter checks. That's the funds that are leaving and going out into your local account. But you can see a little bit more detail here again of, your beginning balance of when it sweeps out to zero, things that have come in, and then again, sweeping it out to zero here. That's where that balance is. So again, your account history report is going to be just very similar to a bank statement report. It's just going to show you your Billhighway bank accounts balances, between the time period that you're reviewing that information for. And then the last report that I want to dive into is actually going to be the member charges report. So as you can see, as we're reviewing this stuff, again, we don't have member level data, right? We're only seeing open water, a date, and how much it's, the full amount of what is being charged here. So what I do want to do is I want to show you this member charges report. If you did want to dive into maybe a little bit more information as to, what's coming through maybe on one of these payments or anything like that, this report will kind of give you a breakdown of the different things that a member has, paid for and what makes up this total amount of this, let's say $665 here. So if I jump over, then I can see it breaks it down to a little bit here. So it shows me that, a little bit's going to the local, some can go to national. If we go down to this one, we see there's an ADDI submission to national, and then we have a student fee, and then we have some local fees. So this report will help you break down these different fees of what's coming in. So I see this $90. Well, what does that $90 make up? And then this will help you see that with the account categories here of how much is actually going into an ADDI submission, how much might be a membership fee, and different things like that. So you'll be able to see all that information within this account category to get that breakdown of, where maybe some is going to local, some's going to national and whatnot, and things like that within here. So just wanted to highlight those different reports for you here. Again, you have a lot more in here. Some of them might not be as helpful again, because there's not necessarily member level detail within them. So I just wanted to highlight these different reports that I think will definitely help with reconciliation when you're kind of seeing how much is processed and whatnot, and then, processing those refunds and things like that. The member charges report and the account history report also can be exported out to Excel. They work a little bit different than that external bank transfer report. Whereas this one, you just click on this X right here, and this will export it out to Excel for you compared to that external bank transfer report. And then lastly, under my account, you can come in and just kind of update your username or password if you needed to. After you get in, if you've had any issues and you needed to contact client care or anything like that, that's where you can come in and manage that information. So that's really everything that I wanted to kind of go in and cover within the Billhighway system. And so with our last about 35 minutes that we have left here, I would like to open it up for any questions that anybody might have. So if you want, you can type them out in the chat feature or the Q&A feature within Zoom, so that we can kind of go through any questions that anybody might have about using the Billhighway solution. And as I wait for any questions that could come in, I do want to jump back to the information about client care. So if you're having issues or questions about getting logged into your own Billhighway account, you can contact our client care team. You can email them or you can call them. The email, I just went back onto this page in case you don't want to listen to me spell it out for you. It's also on this page. It's support@billhighway.com. So that's SUPPORT at Billhighway, BILLHIGHWAY.com. Or you can always call them on the phone too. So if you'd rather just get them on the phone and say, hey, I need help getting into my account, they can definitely help you with that. Their number is 866-245-5499. They are available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. So again, if you're just wondering, maybe, again, you're a brand new administrator, so you're not even sure if you have an account set up or anything like that, they will work with you to see if we, already have you in the system, and then send you over the information how to get logged into your Billhighway account. Or if not, if we don't have you in the system, then we will definitely work with AAF National to get your account set up so that you can get in and manage your club's account and whatnot. And okay, so we got a question coming in that says, this will be my first time working with Billhighway. I assume I can call and they will walk me through having this set up with our website and opening the portal. So yes, that definitely. So Alyssa, go ahead and call our client care team. They will help you make sure that, one, we have an account set up for you, that we got the information from AAF National to get you account set up for your club. And then they'll get you set up for, activating that account and getting signed in. And then from there, I would definitely just recommend going through, double checking that you have a bank account already set up. Because again, I'm not sure if your club is new to using Billhighway or if you're just a new administrator. So if you're new administrator, you should have a bank account on file, but it's definitely good to go in and just double check that that account information is correct. Or if you are a brand new club using Billhighway, then definitely just go to that bank account page and then call. The number is going to call this number. It's going to be that same number, so that we can definitely get your contact information so that we can get the secure information over to you to get your bank account set up. So somebody asked, how do we connect open water and Billhighway? I believe that it should already be set up with your clubs and the processing. So once you are set up as your club is already live within Billhighway, everything should already be set up that anything processed through open water automatically is processed by Billhighway. There should already be that connection that you shouldn't have to worry about, making any switch or any change like that. So somebody asked, how does Billhighway and submissions for Addies all connect? So Billhighway is the processor for anything for AAF. So really that's our connection there, is that we're processing the payments that anybody has for an Addie submission. So that's our connection there, is the processing. So we process that payment that comes in, and then you'll see it, like I said, within Billhighway, and then we sweep it out into your local bank account. So the whole process takes about maybe 5 business days or so from the time that somebody submits that payment, that you're going to have access to it within your local bank account. Just ensuring, again, that whatever means that they process that payment by are actually, it's valid payment, and that valid payment information, and there's funds actually available to cover it. And so that's really what the connection is between Addies and Billhighway. It's just that we're processing those payments for them. And so that's why this session was kind of, a pretty quick session to kind of go through. There's not really too much within Billhighway that you really have to come in and really manage, because again, the funds sweep by themselves. There's no action that you need to do to move those funds out of Billhighway. And then really it's just if you need to process a refund or kind of review and reconcile the funds that have went into your local bank account. That's really what you'll use Billhighway for, at least at this time right now. That's not to say that in the future there could be the integration with open water comes and shows the member level information within Billhighway, because then obviously you can dive into more reports and review that information a little bit more. But so right now you're really still going to use open water for finding that member level detail, and Billhighway is just kind of processing the payments and moving the funds into your local bank account. So you have a question just came in. So Billhighway is processing instead of Stripe and PayPal. Yes, that is correct. So Billhighway is processing the payments, and you won't see, that coming through for Stripe or anything like that. It's going to be Billhighway. That's what Billhighway is, the whole Billhighway system. Again, I mean, if you're not even going to do refunds, or if the reconciliation process is kind of bare minimum for you, you might not even need to log into Billhighway really all that often, because the funds, once the bank account information is set up within Billhighway, they're just going to sweep into your local account. And, really you could just make sure that seeing what's in open water is the amount that should be processed and moved into my bank account. And then I'm good to go from there. So somebody asked, how will I take credit cards in person without a card swipe processor? That is a very good question. I don't know. I think that with everything that's coming through from Open Water, I think they have to sign up for it online, or, kind of put it into almost like their shopping cart for that to be processed. If you have a different way that you're doing it now for your club, I'm guessing that would just probably still continue. And then you would have, the funds wherever they need to go. But with the Billhighway system, it's going to be anything that somebody signs up for online. So anything in person, Billhighway wouldn't process that for you. And so I would imagine if you have a process right now that you're using with your club, that would continue for any in-person credit card payment processings. These are all great questions that are coming in. So keep them coming. I will say too that if nobody else has any further questions, don't feel that you have to stick around, and wait around for any more questions. So if you feel like you've got what you needed to from looking at Billhighway, then you are more than welcome to continue on with your day. Thank you so much for attending this session. If you still have any questions, feel free, keep them coming in the chat in the Q&A session. I will stick around for as long as it needs to be to answer any of these questions. This training session was also recorded, so I will provide it to AAF so that we can make sure that it is shared with anybody who wasn't able to attend. And if you wanted to have like another administrator that needs to review it, that will be available there for them. And then also any of the questions that keep coming in so that we can, make sure that those are answered as well. Okay, so we have had a question come in that Open Water and Billhighway would work together to generate one report listing the payments submitted by row for each entrant manifest number with separate columns showing the breakdown of how much has gone to national, credit card processing fee, transaction fees, and the club's local bank account in separate columns. When will this happen? So that is a great question. That's not a question that I actually can answer because I have no idea about that. I know that we have, been working with AAF and Open Water to at least have the integration bring member level information back into Billhighway. And I think that would definitely be a start of where we can get this report starting with all of that information, that it would show you, member level information and a breakdown of how much, is going where. So I think we definitely need to start with getting that member level information coming in. And then from there, we can definitely break it out to break down any of that information as well. So I will take that question. So thank you, Pearl. I'm going to send that over to our consultant that works with AAF National so that we can bring this up on, their calls to say that we want this on our radar of, getting this information entered in for the club administrators to make it easier for them to, manage this and reconcile that information. And yes, we will definitely, make sure that we bring this up with AAF National so that we can, get that information. We need the work from them really to make sure that we're going to do all this, the different implementations and, integrations with the two solutions, three solutions, I guess, really, if you count AAF, Open Water, and Billhighway. Okay, do we have any more questions? Okay, it looks like we got one more question coming in. And so go ahead and wait for that to be submitted. And again, thank you everyone who, took the time to jump in. I know there's not that much to kind of review within Billhighway, but it still is important to kind of make sure we get in and kind of cover everything. And then we can also see where, we can definitely make some enhancements, make it a little bit easier for the administrators managing their clubs. No problem, Melissa. That's totally fine. It makes more sense to kind of think things through, and then we can, make sure that we have, an answer for you when you do come up with that. So thank you again, everybody who has jumped on for this call. Again, if you have any questions about Billhighway or you need to update some bank account information, please contact our client care team. Again, that number is 866-245-5499. Again, that's anything from, getting access to getting logged into your account to updating that bank account information or information on how to pull any report or anything like that. And then again, we will, just definitely keep in mind with AAF National of any more enhancements or, integrations that we need to have within the Billhighway system to make it easier for you guys to manage everything and member information and all that good stuff. So thank you again so much. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day.